Parshas Tazria. So this is the week we're going to the Taras to understand what happens to the fellow who gets harassed. So there's a big argument here. What happens? Right when we see the nega, we see he has a little bit of a discoloration on his skin. So what happens to him? So there's an argument between all of the Rishonim what we do with him. And I want to show you inside. Let's see in the pasuk, Parshas Tazria, page 610, which is Perek Yud Gimel, pasuk Dalet. Pasuk Gimel, it said that the Kohen should look at it, and he sees that there is a nega. He sees there's a discoloration in the skin. Right, you got page 610?
Yes.
And the pasuk Gimel, it says the Kohen should look when he sees there's a nega, and he sees that the hair is white, which is one of the signs that there is a problem. And the color of the nega is deeper than it appears deeper than the skin, so it's a nega taras. He has now have official declaration of a nega taras, and therefore the Kohen on such a case declares him that he is impure and he has to become pure now. But the pasuk says v'im baheres, pasuk Dalet, if it is a baheres, which means that it's not so clear that this is a piece of taras, that it's white ve'or b'sarai in the skin, but ve'omak in mareha min ha'or, it doesn't appear to be so deep. That's the one sign that it doesn't. You can't see so clear. And also, usa'ara lo yafach lavan, if the hair has not turned white, so it's not clear. Is this man, does he have taras or not? He has a little bit. On the other hand, on one hand he has a discoloration. On the other hand, it doesn't appear deeper than the skin, which is one of the signs that's supposed to be amoik, supposed to be deeper. Then it should look deeper than the skin, because anytime you have anything white, so the white always looks deeper, right? Imagine if you see the sun and the shade, the sun always looks like it's deeper than the shade. If you look on the ground and you see the shade look like it's higher up than the sunny part. So therefore he says the sign is that it's white, that the white looks deeper than the skin. That's one of the two signs of that you see that it's tummy. But here, the hair in this case in pasuk Dalet, it's not it hasn't turned white. So we have a question. It's a quasi case. So the ruling is, right? What's the ruling for such a person? Irving, you ready?
The Kohen tells him for a 7-day period.
Right.
He has to go leave.
So what?
He has to be quarantined for 7 days.
So it says v'hizkir haKohen. The Kohen locks up the nega for 7 days. He locks up this affliction for 7 days. So the question is, what exactly does he do? Does he put him in jail? Does he put the hand in jail? Does he handcuff the hand? If it's not the hand, does he tie it up? What does he do? Not so clear. How do you lock up an affliction? So, to start off right off the bat, we have one idea is Rashi. Rashi always starts off first. Rashi says, well, what it means is you lock up the person, right? You look at Rashi. Rashi here says the bottom line, top line from the second column. Rashi says you lock him up in one house. You keep him in one house, which means you don't move him around, you don't take him out. He's locked up for 7 days. And you should not have anyone look at it until the end of the week. And then at the end of the week you'll see the signs if they change. If it spreads, if it gets bigger, then we'll say he's tamei. If it does not spread, then we'll say he's okay.
So nobody comes in and sees this person at all? Or?
Right, that's what it seems to appear from this pasuk here.
I guess he's got provisions and food or whatever. whatever
Right.
by
So
himself.
there wasn't like a house designated for different people of the same stature to go
That's a
together?
good question.
Everybody had their own yichud.
Yeah, it seems, although Rashi says bayis echad, but it seems that it's at least one room. He goes into a room, he's locked up, they lock the door for a week, and that seems to be where the article came from. When the article wrote over here that he's quarantined. Quarantined means that no one has anything to do with him.
Food, what happened?
So I guess they'll have to give him food. He'll have enough what to eat. He's ready for the week. He'll have enough what to eat. That's how Rashi seems to learn. And this also seems to be the view of Tosfos. This seems to be how they do it. And the idea is that what happens? What's the point of locking him up? So the point of locking him up is that after he gets out, then you'll be able to tell if it's bread, right? If he would be in contact.
Plus if it confines it to that location rather than spreading to different vessels in different houses.
Well, but so far we're not on houses yet or vessels. So far we're talking about the Taras on the person. So the idea that Rashi seems to say, I'll show you how Rashi holds like this. What's the point of locking him up? Is he getting punished? Instead of punishment, you're putting him in prison? He's in the Sagur, he's locked up for... No, he's not in prison. Rather, the idea is that this seems to be how the Kohen is able to tell that it spreads. Because if the Kohen would be next to him, and people would be next to him for a week, so you could see every day, you won't notice, because it will be a slight change every day, it'll grow a little bit. It's like, do you ever notice that your hair is growing, right? You don't notice your hair is growing. All of a sudden, after a month, your wife says to you, oh, you need a haircut. So that's the same idea here. We want to have him out for a week, and then we'll be able to tell after a week. Oh, the Kohen's going to look at, wow, that's different than I saw last week, right? So same thing like the hair, right? Let's say someone didn't see you for 2 weeks, so they'll say, wow, you don't look the same like I saw you 2 weeks ago.
That's kind of stark because let's say there was like 10 different people put into 10 different rooms, because they had the possibility, and it was only the Kohen Gadol that would paskin, right?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I believe it was any Kohen. Any Kohen could do this.
I don't know. I thought it said, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so then, because I was thinking it was one Kohen, how could he, from 1 week to the next,
Right,
all the
right.
different people know exactly what's different.
Right. So you'll have to keep your eyes open when we go through the parsha this week. But the appearance is that it could be anyone, and that's the idea.
But
Look
it says
at.
brought to Aaron the Kohen, or to one of his sons. Okay.
Okay, there you go. So that's the idea here, and that's what he brings down. That's what Rashi says. Look at Rashi's words. The last words in Rashi are V'yoichichu simanim alav. Right, you see the last words in that Rashi? It's only if they lock him up. Now that's the whole Rashi. Read the whole Rashi together. They lock him up in one house, top line in the second column. No one should see him till the end of the week. Then the signs can prove if it's spread or not. These signs will prove by themselves. They'll just walk out. Everyone will say, "Wow, that's bread." But if they wouldn't lock him up, then it would not be yoichichu siman of love. Then the signs wouldn't be able to prove it because people wouldn't be able to tell from such a slight change every day. It grows a little bit, and that's the idea. Says that's Rashi, and just tell you from the Das HaKenim and like Tosfos, they bring down that's the idea with Noach. Noach, what happened? Beginning of Parshas Noach, right? What happened by the flood? He wanted to see if the waters had abated and gone down. So what did he do? How did he sent out the dove, right? And what happened? The dove went, came back.
Right away. Almost.
So if you look at the pasuk, it's very interesting. The time period that was going on over there, right?
7 days?
Oh, there was 7 days here. What was there 7 days going on for? Why was the need for that, right? It says that he sent out the Orev, he sent out the raven. The raven didn't want to go anywhere. He sent out the Yonah. The Yonah couldn't find any place to put its feet down, so it came back. He waited another 7 days. And then he sent it out, and then it brought back a leaf. And then he sent it out, he waited another 7 days, and then it didn't come back at all. So he sent out the Yonah, he waited 7 days. So the Das, the Canaan, and the Bali Tosos, they say, why did he wait 7 days? To send out the dove. Why did he wait to send out 7 days? In order to recognize the Chesar Namayim. He's saying such an idea that you have to think about it a little bit, how they're bringing it about, but they're bringing about that maybe one day there, although there it's a physical thing. It's an interesting question there. What is his comparison? There it's a physical thing. If the dove will find rest, it will find rest. He seems to be saying that the same idea. If it would be the next day that he sent out the dove, so maybe dove wouldn't be able to recognize it. It's a little bit of an interesting question, how he's bringing proof. But he seems to be saying he waited 7 days. That way you could see the contrast. Okay. Anyway, in any event, that's the idea that Rashi says. So this is the Rashi together with the Tosfos, and that's the basically to the whole idea. They lock him up. Yeah, so that's the first idea. Along comes the Rishonim, the Rosh and the Torah. You know the Rosh and the Torah were? They were related. The Rosh was the Torah's father. The Rosh and the Torah. So the Rosh and the Torah, they come along and they say, no, this is not true. Because the Rosh has a question. The words of the verse, let's look back at the pasuk, says that you lock up, what does it say? It says, first of all, you lock up his Giro HaKohen, pasuk Dalet, right? Pasuk Dalet. Vizgir HaKohen es HaNega. It says they lock up the Nega. It says they lock up the actual affliction. So, but according to Rashi, you don't lock up the affliction. You lock up the person. So according to Rashi, it should have said that they lock up Hanagua, Haminuga. They lock up the afflicted one. The word the nega seems to say that they're actually locking up the affliction, and therefore he doesn't like Rashi's pshat. And then he has another question. Once he's at it already, he says also it doesn't say where to lock him up. It just says you should lock him up. You should lock up the nega, lock him up. But it doesn't say be in the house. It says lock him up. Where do you lock him up? Maybe you should just lock him. Maybe you should lock him up to the. They used to have these. You lock a person up to the wall, right, like a horse, right? Who said to lock him up in a house? Who told Rashi this magic ingredient that they lock him up in the house? Maybe you should be out of the house. Just lock him up. Make sure he doesn't run away. Who told Rashi that they lock him up in one house for a full week? Maybe you just lock him up outside the house. Handcuff him to the wall outside the house. Yeah?
It's still not specifying the person.
Right, number one, there are two questions. Number one, it didn't say a person.
Or the place.
And number two, it didn't say where to lock him up. So who told Rashi that you should lock up the person or whatever it is in the house? Maybe it should be lock him up to a big rock. A big rock, he won't run away.
Unless there was a designated place. I don't know.
So, it's not clear. And why did they lock him up?
Okay, so how do we understand just the affliction? And how do you lock up just the affliction? How do you quarantine just the affliction?
Good, Irving. Excellent. You're on the ball.
So excellent.
That's the next
question you
step.
posed.
That's the next. No, so
I don't want the class to finish before you get to the answer.
Yeah, no, I'm leading up to that question. That was the next question. So that comes along the Rosh, the Tor, and the Meiri, 3 Rishonim, and they all say that what they do is they take a red magic marker or a red dye, and they make a circle right around the affliction, exactly around the affliction. And then, what's the idea of making a red circle around the affliction?
To see if it spreads.
Then they'll know if it spreads. Because if it spreads out of that red circle, then you know you have a problem here. Then you know it spreads, and then the Kohen can say he's tummy. Spread. And if it did not spread out of the circle, then you have to go according to the rules. If it shrunk, then he's tar. If it stays the same, you lock him up again.
Then on the other side of it, if we said that we don't look for 7 days because you can't notice a slight difference, if you have a particular thing and it starts spreading, you'll notice right away. So why wait 7 days?
So it could be that, according to the Rush, the idea of the 7 days was just to give it a time period. Like, how long do we wait to see if it spreads or not spreads? Like, let's say 1 day. 1 day you'll see it didn't spread. So maybe you should let him out 1 day. So the time period is 7 days. The Torah decrees time period 7 days to see if it spreads. But you're right. Maybe at the end of 2 days you already have seen that it had
Why would
spread.
they declare that he's tummy then?
Yeah, but it's just right. I guess it seems like they made just that time period. They made it 7 days.
They want to be conservative or something.
Right, consistent time. Yeah. Now that's an interesting idea. That's what the Rush.
Because I mean, the sooner that he is stamped tame, the sooner he can be checked again to be tahar.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Maybe 2 days normally doesn't tell you enough, so they want to.
No, but by the red circle, and then if you see anything coming past the red circle, it's spread.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to think about it. We'll have to work on it. But at least we have an answer to both of the questions that the Rush had on Rashi. Number one, where does it say you lock him up on the house? So the answer said the Rush is, you don't lock him up in the house. You lock up the nega. How do you lock up the nega? By making a circle around it. And why doesn't it say you lock up the person? The answer is because you don't lock up the person. You only lock up the nega. That's the answer to the 2 questions.
And through the Torah Shabbat Peh, it wasn't clear
What? It wasn't clear what?
what this meant.
Which way? It's an argument. This is the Torah Shabbat Peh. The Rishonim who are arguing about this.
Okay.
Yeah, they're actually this is the Torah Shabbat Peh in the making.
Let's see Rashi.
Now, it's interesting. There is an idea that we find like this, that it says.
That's why all of them are.
It says later on, if there's a spot on the hair, later it says on the beard. So then, and he gets a nega there. So what's the din there, right? That's also called a sort of a nega. The nega gets a new name when it's in the hair. It's called a nesek. But it's the same idea. Just happens to be in the hair. And the pasuk says later on in Perek, page 614, Perek Yud Gimel, pasuk Lamed Gimel, Yud Gimel Lamed Gimel.
That's for sure. It's Shnei Chuten.
That there it says that, right, pasuk Lamed Gimel, right, it's talking all about this hair, and it depends what color hair it is, and right, because it's you can't really see the skin, you can only see the hair. So there it says in pasuk Lamed Gimel, v'hiskalach, you shave around, you shave it, you shave. V'es hanesek lo yigalech. But the actual affliction, you don't shave that, right? Because let's not forget, right? He sees a nega there.
That's the first thing.
Whether they're all.
Well, it could be a guy with his
And he sees it. So what happens? He says you can shave. He should shave it. He should shave, but not the actual affliction. And he locks him up for 7 days. And then you should see, did it spread or did it not spread? So it's a very interesting question. What does it mean? V'hiskalach. So what is it telling you? You should take a shave? He knows he takes a shave every Friday afternoon. What's the pasuk teaching you? To shave for covered Shabbos?
All of them are mutter except for the
What's the Kiddush? So on this, Rashi already here says, look at Rashi, the second column, the first word, first line. He should shave around the nesek, around this affliction. Around it, but not on it. Do not shave the actual affliction. Rather, you leave two hairs going all around it. That's the same idea. You leave it, you shave right around it, you give two hairs going all around it to see if it's spread. And if it's spread, then it will come out, that it will pass by the hair and it will go into the shaved area, and then you'll see when the Kohen comes back, he'll see in a week, oh, look at that. On the shaved area, there is a affliction.
Took an order to steal it, huh?
I don't know if this is interesting or not, but it says, he shall shave himself, he shall not shave the nesek. So he's already creating this, to make a comparison to the first one, this circular, like it's not a red marker, but he's already creating, because he's going around the affliction. Right?
So what do you
creating
think?
like that quarantine kind of idea.
So what do you see?
So, but it says, so he says the person shall shave, so he's already, the person himself is making like segregated, and then the Kohen shall quarantine in Nessa.
So what do you see from here?
Sorry? So I'm saying, like, I don't know, because the guy who has it is already doing his own kind of circular string, or circular marker by shaving, in a way. Like an analogy to it, and then it still says the Kohen shall still quarantine.
Well, so now we have to think about it. It's interesting.
Like, I don't know if I'm picking up.
You pick up on this. So just to clarify that last point about the shaving, the first point is that the actual affliction, when it comes on the hair or on the beard, it will make him bald. It will make him bald right there. But what the idea is, you're allowed to shave all around it, but you have to leave two hairs going around, right around that bald spot. So you leave two hairs, a circumference going around that spot, and then you'll look after the week and you see if the nega grew past those two hairs, you'll know that it became tummy. Now, what you see from here is an interesting thing. On the one hand, you see the same idea as the rush, that you see that you make a quarantine around the nega. That's an idea, and the rush actually brings us as a proof to him. The rush, he's in a commentary that he wrote on the Gemara. It's called the Tosfos HaRush. Tosfos HaRush is the same person as the rush. Tosfos HaRush. So here he writes in the Gemara and Moed Katan, and the Gemara is it's on Daf Zayin, right? If I'm not mistaken, Daf Zayin Amud Beis. Daf Zayin Amud Aleph. Give you a baskel. Omar, and he says the following words. He has a nice piece here. He goes through the whole idea, but he brings this proof. He says the following words.
That's why he can say they're all well, you have the there was a real one there. You know what it says?
It's very interesting that the word, he brings his whole idea that the way you do it is you make a circle around that place. Because that's the only way to know if it spreads. Because he says, even if you have the wisest of all men, you have Shlomo HaMelech comes, he can't tell if it spreads. Maybe it spread a few inches, 2 inches.
That it was.
What kind of Kohen could tell if it spread or not? The only way to do it is if you make a simon, you make a sign.
So you have to wait a week. How are you going to know the difference?
Right. So therefore the Tosfos HaRush says even the wisest of wise people can't tell. The only advice is to make the circle around it. And then we'll learn, and he says that we learn this up from our pasuk that we're looking at now by the beard that has an affliction. Because there in the hair, how do you tell tell? Because it says you shall shave it and leave a circle of hairs around the netzach. So he says, you see from here that he learns up. That's the idea of the hizgir. The hizgir akoyas the netzach. The next words that you quoted were that you have to lock them up. So he says that's the idea here too, right? You shave it off. That's how the Kohen locks up that bald spot. The way you lock it up is you don't put handcuffs to the hair or to the spot, to the bald spot. Rather, you lock it up by shaving around it. So the same way over there, that's how you lock it up. So too by our case, when a person has a nega on his skin, it means that's how you lock it up. That you make a circle around it to tell if it's spread.
So the Torah Rosh determined from this one, from the second instance, the meaning of the first one.
Right. Because here it's clear that that's how you do it. You have to make a sign around it. So it's over there. And therefore that's his proof. That's the Tosfos HaRosh's proof from this pasuk. From the pasuk by the bald spot and the beard. Now, it is interesting to note that the Ramban actually, when he looks at that pasuk, v'his galach, even though Rashi himself does say that idea also on pasuk Lam and Gimel, which is very strong idea, because Rashi himself says.
Yeah, because in the Torah it tells you. How could he argue with that, right?
Well, the question was, maybe you can learn up that the words that you have to shave it, maybe it's telling you something else. The Ramban says that the pasuk is coming to tell you a different idea, that you're allowed to keep on shaving. Usually, if every week you shave, you're allowed to shave this week also. But just be careful not to shave the place where there is the affliction. Now you might say, well, there's no hair there anyway. Why would he shave there? But the problem is,
not common practice. Only if there were a nazir, like only in few instances would people shave, no? Like the normal practice was to have
a beard. Okay,
right?
But let's say, it could be maybe the hair on top of the head. Maybe they used to shave it. So it's saying over here, the Ramban says that the pasuk is coming to tell you a new thing. Don't shave the hair. Don't run a razor or shaver over the place of the nega. Over the place of the nega. Why? You know why? Because we're scared. We're scared that something's going to happen. You know what will happen?
Okay.
As you no, it's not natural. You can't make it spread. Hashem makes it spread. But we're scared that it might indent into the skin and you might just scrape out the nega. You might come to scrape out the nega, and therefore
you wouldn't have a truthful.
So therefore, that would be a problem. It's a lav. It's forbidden to take off a nega, to scratch off a nega. It's a whole question. Let's say there's a nega. I'll give you an interesting question. There is an affliction, a nega on a baby or a boy who doesn't have bris milah yet. He didn't have a bris milah. So if the nega is on there, could you cut off that piece of skin where there is a nega on it? Because you're doing a bris milah. On the other hand, you're not allowed to cut off a nega.
But a nega would be Hashem's way of telling you that you have a problem. So
Hashem also told you that you should cut off the arla, you should cut off the foreskin.
Right.
So you're cutting off the foreskin. Hashem told me also to cut off the foreskin. Interesting question what to do on that.
Right. But saras would be a physical manifestation of a shortcoming of a person, of a newborn baby. Would it be possible?
Okay, maybe it's a person who's an adult. Maybe the person never got a bris milah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here you have the idea maybe that asay should push away a los asay. It's a mitzvah asay to do a bris. It's a mitzvah los asay don't remove a nega. And we know the positive commandments push away the negative commandments. So he would do the bris. Okay, but maybe we'll go into that next year. It's a nice thing to think about. Or this week by your table, you can think about it. In any event, but that's why the Ramban says that's what the pasuk's saying. His galach. It doesn't mean that it's saying that you should that it's automatically telling you to quarantine the nega, shave around it. It could be telling you could shave your hair, but his galach, but make sure that Rashi, don't shave that part where the nesek is, because you might come to peel it off.
The middle one.
So that's an interesting idea, and therefore it's not from the pasuk alone. You don't have a proof to Rashi, to the Rush. I mean, to the Rush. Now the truth is that the Tosfos in the back, he also says that even if you would say like Rashi, it could be Rashi agreed by the case of the beard that only over here do you make a sign around it, because only over here do you do such a simon, because this simon is a great sign. It's a sign that there's no way to fake it. But Rashi says, but let's go back to the case where he had the affliction on his hand. To draw with a red piece of paint on his hand, maybe the fellow will be a faker. Maybe he'll get scared. He doesn't want to be quarantined for a week. Maybe he doesn't want to be declared impure. So you know what he'll do? He'll wash it off. Maybe he'll get some, rubbing alcohol, and he'll rub it off, and then he'll get his own marker, and he'll make it much bigger, make a circle, a big circle. And you know what that does if you make a very big circle? What would that do now? What do you think?
It would make it look diminishing, because you got only those spots in a big area.
It would make it look like the nega shrunk.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, oh, this affliction is almost gone.
There must be more to a quarantine, like if it's a 7-day quarantine, and it's got to be the same coin that saw it at the beginning. It's not like the guy can.
One second.
There's a quarantine.
One second. Before you jump, I want to go into that in 1 second right now. But you hear this idea. So therefore Rashi, it could be that Rashi himself, even if he says his galach, he says it's coming to tell you that you can't shave around because that's the sign. But maybe in the beginning of the parsha by a nega on the skin, maybe Rashi agrees that a nega on the skin, you don't do circles with markers, because that you could fake out, that he could erase. Therefore Rashi over there said the only advice is to lock him up. Now, I do want to bring first of all, the Ramban. I do want to say that the Ramban says that the coin looks Amad Be'enav. Right, the pasuk in the beginning of this parsha, right where we started, says that the coin looks, and if it stays, that it looked in the coin's eyes to be the same. So Ramban says, you see that the coin has to judge according to how his eyes see. So we see here that the Ramban, he learned like.
Specific.
That what? How did he learn? Did he learn like
using a personal judgment from the coin?
He learned like Rashi. That it's a personal judgment.
Yeah.
So you got to lock him up for 7 days because to tell you take him out a contrast.
Yeah.
But if you would have learned like the Rush that you made a circle, so what does it mean? Amad Be'enav, the coin has to evaluate in his eyes. Did it go down? Just look. Look, did it go past the line? So you see here that the Ramban and the Rambam they both learn like that idea of Rashi. But the last idea is what Irving is saying is a question that the Ramban says. The Ramban says that who could declare him tahar? So the Ramban says and the Rambam says that it has to be the same Kohen who saw him in the first place. So therefore it says the Minchas Chinuch, beautiful, you just intended for the Minchas Chinuch, that the Rambam says and the Ramban says that it has to, if let's say the Kohen dies, let's say the Kohen locks him up, his name is Levi, he locks him up, then he dies during the week. So what happens? The second Kohen cannot come along and say you're tummy, because he doesn't know if it got bigger. How does he know? He wasn't there.
He can't say he's tahar either, right?
Right. So he can't. Probably right. He probably can't say he's tahar either. So says the Minchas Chinuch. So what's going to be? So he's going to be stuck. So he says from here you have a proof that a Kohen Shiny could see it, but he can't say Tameh because he doesn't know if it's bread. So you see clearly that the Rambam didn't learn like the Rush, because if you would just make a circle around it, even another Kohen couldn't say it's Tameh, it's bread. So you see from here that the Rambam argued on the Rush. So you have the Rambam, the Ramban, and Rashi, they all go together, and on the other side you have the Meiri, the Rush, and the Tur. They're on the other side of the fence. So it's a big argument here. How do you lock them up? And that's the basic idea for this week to get started. But you can go further, think about it, bring more proofs. Next week maybe go into another point.
That was good.
Okay.